popularly referred to as a super permanent secretary in his days in civil service, Chief Phillip Asiodu played a pivotal role in shaping the administrative structure of modern Nigeria. His dedication to the environment, well, is unmistakable. He was one of the building blocks of the Nigerian Conservation Foundation, founded in 1982. On this episode, we bring you Chief Phillip Asiodu. I'm Susan Ilian. Welcome to Amazing Africans. Have you ever wished for a visit, even if for a moment, to the Garden of Eden, where nature tucks your soul in serenity and your entire being is wrapped in peace? Well, maybe, just maybe, a visit to the Lekki Conservation Center may do some good for your soul's yearning for tranquility. Located on a landmass of over 78 hectares of land in Lekki, in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial nerve center and one of the world's most populous cities. But the population and the need to house it is not a threat to this natural ambiance that has been protected from encroachment since 1990. Every day, the center hosts tourists, some of whom come to have a close embrace with nature in its undiluted taste.
No, absolutely not. Not even math. I know for business you have to do math. Absolutely not.
It was really the bare minimum math. I was like,
No. Never. Never. Oh.
I finished calculus.
Is it here? On this side? Oh, group of
A friend of ours in Edmonton told us, whenever you visit Nigeria, especially Lagos, you should come to this place. So it's really wonderful. It's a good experience. And when I came, I really love it. We have something like this in Canada, but it's different. So when I came, I was really impressed. So it's beautiful.
We did notice that, in a very remarkable way. And the peaceful environment makes it more unique because you can come here, do your meditation, clear your head, and just enjoy nature. So absolutely, we did have a good time. And we'll definitely recommend it to a lot of people. Like, everybody should come and have this experience. It was awesome.
Those amazing hills. Seeing when you get to the very top and you see you're above all the trees, it was a very different kind of vibe, and I really enjoyed it. Just walking with you can feel the energy, and you can feel like you see everyone behind you, everyone in front of you. It was very, very thrilling, and I loved it.
The center is rich with flora, fauna, and thickets, including this over 100-year-old African locust bean tree, also called Parkia biglobosa. It is a home for monkeys, which hop from tree to tree, unaware of the chaos that may exist outside of this zone. And those of them who are conscious of their sense of ownership and therefore walk about freely.
I spent 25 years in the United States Army. I went to several wars, and going through these swamps like this, I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, people wouldn't be able to look at me and imagine that I actually went and walked through these and set up tents and lived on it. So the swamps, it just brings back a lot of good memories. You know, people would say bad memories, but in actuality, they're good memories because monkeys were there, snakes were there.
It's the only habitat known to the West African dwarf crocodile here. The African land tortoise, the pied kingfisher, and the pied hornbill. It is the sanctuary for the Nile monitor lizards, the turtles, the fishes.
The one that is there, they've not.
I left my bag, so I'm just walking
The
back.
Jameson's mamba, and other snakes, the bushbuck and the open-billed stork, the aruna and the palm nut vulture.
I like the serene environment, and the atmosphere is very peaceful, and you feel that in the nature, the touch of nature that you're there, which we've not been really be opportune to see for quite a time. The only part that was scary to me, if not for the fact that I just tried to say, well, I'm a man, is when we are climbing the canopy. I can't turn back because I can see them going, and I say, okay, I need to go with them as well. So I don't know about their own experience. Have something to say?
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
The chirping of the birds, singing sweetly in the trees, surely comes with therapy in them. Tourists from across the world, old and young, visit to drink from the fountain of an environment devoid of pollution.
We actually came to Nigeria for my grandma's funeral, and we spent the last week in Benin, and it's obviously a different environment, but even though we're celebrating her life, it's still a bit heavy on the soul. You know, even I'm with my family, but we're gathering for something sad. And then being able to come here and being with nature, being up in the towers and looking down, I really see all the nature, and I have a moment to be mindful, a moment to breathe. And really, I think coming here let me really think about everything I needed to let go of.
The Lekki Conservation Center is one of the offsprings of the Nigerian Conservation Foundation. Founded in 1980 and registered in 1982 by Chief Asiodu, with support from eco-crusaders like Chief Phillip Asiodu, late Messrs. Akintola Williams, and Anastasios Leventis. Chief Asiodu served as the chairman of the National Executive Council for 13 years, between 1986 and 1999. He was elected president of the Board of Trustees in June 2002, a position he has occupied since then. Between 1989 and 1993, he served as a member of the International Board of Worldwide Fund for Nature.
And they were under considerable pressure because in those days, 30-odd years ago, people were like castigating them. What are you people doing? You want to be protected. You don't want us to be eating bushmeat or what? What is wrong? But he and his cohorts, they withstood all that very politely, very firmly. They didn't flinch. And because of the exemplary character they had, they were able to actually invite Prince Bernard of the Netherlands and His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh to come here to Nigeria, yes, and endorse the Nigerian Conservation Foundation. And it's not anybody that can give a garden party where the Duke of Edinburgh will be happy to grace with his presence. Philip Asiodu was one of those people, along with his friends like Asiodu and Akintola Williams.
He was born on Monday, February the 26th, 1934, in Lagos, Nigeria, where he attended St. Paul Catholic School and later King's College.
I was born in Lagos here, near Brazilian quarters. My father was in customs and excise, And before I became conscious of where I was, it was transferred to Calabar. So it is in Calabar I became conscious of surroundings, started school, Sacred Heart School, Calabar, and Hope Bodil briefly. And by 10, he was transferred back to Lagos.
As a schoolboy, very bright student. Chedo Asiodu's time, when he was admitted, and that was in 1946, admission was strictly limited to 25 boys per annum. I remember he was the youngest boy in his class. There were other students who were 2 years, 3 years older than him. He was a sportsman, especially in cricket. He played cricket for the first 11 at King's College.
He would later leave the shores of the country to attend Queen's College, Oxford University in September 1953 to study philosophy, politics, and economics, getting his honors degree 3 years after in 1956. In 1957, at the age of 23, Phillip Asiodu joined the Nigeria Civil Service, embarking on his public service career as one of the 12 pioneer Foreign Service officers. This role provided him with the opportunity to closely observe the workings of the public service. His mission took him to various locations, including the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Nations in New York, as well as the Provisional Secretariat of the Organization of African Unity in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Ordinarily, I should not have qualified to talk about Phillip Asiodu, because Chief Asiodu is not only our mentor, but he has been like a father to all of us in the public service of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He is qualified to be an amazing world figure, not even in Africa. This is a man that can go to anywhere, any system of government, any nation, any institution in the world, and talk with authority on what he knows. Comparative analysis. If you talk about the history of China, United Kingdom, Russia, United States, Chief Phillip Asiodu naturally will come and give you analysis of what is happening everywhere. So he's an amazing international figure, not only an amazing African.
I know him as a great economic planner of the country. And he takes this very seriously, because at the time he was in the Ministry of Industries, I think Nigeria was growing then at about maybe 10 to 11% per annum, because there were many industries in the country. And he believes, this is important, he believes very strongly in value added, that whatever Nigeria produces, we must find means to add value to it so it can command more resources for the country.
Years down the line, he was saddled with the responsibility of scouting for bright minds to join the Nigerian Civil Service.
They gave me power of attorney to go to America, interview anybody with Nigerian with masters or doctorates who wanted to, who responded, negotiate with them what position they could occupy in the Nigerian Civil Service. And I went around 16 different centers in America. Washington, Berkeley, California, Los Angeles, Chicago, Cambridge, Massachusetts, of course, with the Harvard and all that stuff. New York. Interviewed them, negotiated with them, and all my recommendations were adopted.
7 years on the job, 30-year-old Phillip Asiodu transferred to the Home Civil Service in August 1964, after which he was posted to the Ministry of Lagos Affairs as Deputy Permanent Secretary. A year later, that is, in 1965 through to 1975, he served in the Ministries of Health, Industries, Mines and Power, Petroleum Energy, as well as Housing and Urban Development, as Permanent Secretary. This earned him the title Super Permanent Secretary. That was under General Yakubu Gowon.
I describe Phillip Asiodu as one of my role models, one of my role model bosses. Nigeria probably would not be in existence today, but for people like him, I know, as a matter of fact, that after the second coup, what they call the revenge coup, there was the intention of quite a number of the military officers led by Murtala Mohammed to cede from Nigeria to get the northern states out of the country, you see? And people like him were people who made sure that the folly of doing that was brought home to the hotheads who wanted to move the northern region out of the country. Brought them back to see their sense. And after the war, I know also that when the military leaders went to Ghana, Taburi, and they came back, after they came back from Ghana, the head of state, Yakubu Gowon, was advised that the confederal arrangement which they had reached would lead to dissipation of the country going apart. And so Asiodu was one of the permanent secretaries who gave that good advice that we shouldn't go in that direction. So Gowon making a U-turn, for example, on the Aburi Accord people like him were instrumental to that. So those are some of the things which he did. Was a very patriotic. He's a very patriotic person, patriotic Nigerian. So that's one of the things he did, which many people in the public will not be aware of, that a man like that was instrumental to making sure of preserving the unity of the country.
After retirement, he was brought back to the public service to serve as the special advisor to President Shehu Shagari on economic affairs and chairman of the Cabinet Committee. This was between October and December 1983. From December 1992 to August 1993, he served as Secretary for Petroleum and Mineral Resources. Later, he served as Chief Economic Advisor to then-President Olusegun Obasanjo between July 1999 and June 2001. He served as member of the Vision 2010 Committee and later as chairman of the National Working Party on Vision 2020, which produced what became known as the Fifth National Development Plan.
When you read how Nkrumah used to send his planes to take consultants from either Lagos University or Ibadan to Ghana to treat his foreign friends. When you read about the king of Saudi Arabia coming to Ibadan for treatment, when you now know how much we are spending on medical tourism. While I was in Ministry of Health, the Queen had earlier on, in 1952 or so, visited Ibadan, teaching hospital, and which is, at that time, was either the best or the second best in the whole of the Commonwealth. And in 1992, when there was a return banquet, head of state of Nigeria had visited UK, there was return banquet, it was military. And the Queen was asking, late Queen, How is that beautiful hospital in the wooded hills? Nobody could tell her the woods had disappeared.
In 1998, he briefly entered politics with the desire to becoming Nigeria's president, but lost at the primaries.
If I had got to power, maybe I might not be alive now, because I might have worked, but I would have been, but maybe I would be alive, like Sigmund. I would have initiated this continuation. I would have continued all the paper plants, EOP, crossing the one in the Akwa Ibom could be functioning. The Bachita, we had planted, the Jeba paper mill. We had planted tropical conifers for long staple. We are producing crafts, for wrapping paper. We were consulting some elders. We even involved people like Gawan and Shonekum in it to see if we could get across the states, across the divides of religion, not more than 12 young people in each state. And get them to agree on medium and long-term plan to take Nigeria from where we are to first world status, which should have happened at the turn of the last century if we had not abandoned our plans. And not 9 of them to vie for presidency. Unite behind 1 or 2 and agree on continuity.
For him, the hope of a rebirth for a nation yearning for development is not a lost one.
I'm hopeful because in the consultations we were before COVID, they emerged from various sections of Nigeria, young people who are committed, who desire change, and who believe in merit. And once you go into a merit-driven system, it catches on. So I'm hopeful. All we need is this miracle for the boss of the day to say enough is enough. Office should not be the route to appearance on Forbes list of rich people. By the way, I was quite surprised by the so-called obedient movement. And NSAS was promising, but then it was driven underground. And when things go underground, when they come out again, you never know. I say I was sorry to see them suppressed because otherwise we would have seen among them the elements of it. But I'm in touch with people who were in touch with, and many are still desirous of change and hopeful. And I think we will resume our consultations we have begun and persuade ourselves to make the sacrifice.
Aside from his love for the environment, he also has interest in business. He founded 3 holding companies which are involved in manufacturing, agriculture, and banking.
Chief Asiodu was one of the colossus of his time, not just from Asaba or not just from Nigeria. As far as I'm concerned, brains like that are world class. That is the truth. And I was very privileged. I take it as one of the greatest things that happened to me, that I was able to cut my teeth, working under that great man. Because what then happened was that in 1999, in the advent of the new political dispensation, I joined his team in office as he was the chief economic advisor to the president and was also the vice chairman of the National Planning Commission. And that gave him, in fact, he had a tripartite role at that time because he was also the chief debt negotiator of the country. And we were at the Paris Club, we were at the London Club. Of course, we went to the World Bank, IMF, IFC, everything, and we were trying to reconcile these debts. And that was that momentous, the work we did at that time, 99, 2000, 2001, because Chief wasn't that long in government anyway. I think he left about 2001 or thereabout, was what gave us the springboard to get that massive debt relief that we got for the country. And it's all there, it's in the archives.
Possibly not many people know his involvement in the foundation of EcoBank, which now has presence in 35 African countries.
When we started, really, when you saw an EcoBank banker, whether it was in Nigeria or Ghana or Italy, he stood out. That is still so. We must push that.
In February 2024, Chief Phillip Asiodu celebrated his 90th birthday. He's one man described as an encyclopedia of the history, politics, geography, and psychology of Nigeria.
Many people will not know that the first language he learned to speak and write was Efik. I think people also may not know that he was among the first set of Nigerian diplomats trained and sent out after independence. Some people may know this, but many people may not know that he's also a great golfer. I played golf with him and find him a great golfer, even up to December last year, 2023.
Even at 90 years, he still creates time for the formation and development of a non-partisan group movement for good governance. In addition to whatever he's achieved, integrity and humility are said to be his hallmark. We hope you found his story as inspiring as we did. Let us know what you feel about this episode and previous episodes of the program. You can also tell us about some amazing Africans you think are worth celebrating. I'm Susan Ilian. See you next time.